Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF video. Today we're going to be taking a quick look at the MasterCase Pro 5. Now this is the second case in their new series. They've got the MasterCase and the Pro 5. So this is the more sort of decked out version. It comes with the top cover and it comes with a few more accessories than the original MasterCase. So you're looking at about $199 Australian dollars for this. It's aimed to be sort of a mid-tower ATX size. It'll take your MITX and your full ATX and MATX size motherboards. We'll just have a quick look inside. Don't want to spend too much just on the side panel here. So we've got this nice protective covering, which is nice. You've got that on both sides. All the two side panels are slide design, so they slide to the back and then pop out. I do like that. It gives it a nice premium feel. All right, now moving on to the inside, it is quite spacious. Now the concept that Master has aimed for with this case is modularity. Now I was actually lucky enough to be invited to Taiwan early last year to help design, not to design this case specific, but to work on a few range of cases that they'll probably be releasing up in the future. So more things I wanted to look at is how can they construct the drive bays, how can they adopt this to water cooling, or what is something new they can add to a case that hasn't sort of been done before. And the main thing that Master focused on is they've added these rail systems along here and then on the back. So all it is really just a rail with a lot of screw holes. So this gives you flexibility on moving the hard drive cages sort of 1 centimeter increments to where you want them. So you can have them down the bottom, slightly up the top, right at the top, in the middle, sort of wherever you want. And you've also got your two CD-ROM bays, 5¼ inch up the top. Now they can be completely removed. There's a lot of things here that just use thumb screws. So they're 3½ inch use thumb screws, that CD-ROM bays use thumb screws, down the bottom thumb screws, your two SSD mounts here on this basement level use thumb screws. So there's a lot of thumb screws, which I do like. It just makes it out sort of an ease of use. Now bear in mind they're probably, so they haven't all been tightened with a screwdriver to start off with, so you are going to need a screwdriver, but once you do put them back in, you don't need to do them up with a screwdriver where you won't be able to undo them, which kind of takes the point out of having a thumb screw. But yeah, put that aside. You've even got thumb screws on the rear for the power supply. The actual power supply has a power supply tray, not tray, but the cover is removable, so you can mount your power supply onto the cover, then slide that in, and then away you go. So looking at this case, some of the specs straight off. So you've got room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 standard 3½ inch hard drives, which is pretty sweet. There's a lot of cases these days where it's hard to even get support for 5 hard drives. Now a person like me, I love my storage and I love my hard drive, so I still find it important, especially on sort of a mid-tier case. You do need hard drive support. Now these will also take 1 SSD each, so you can either throw in hard drives or SSDs in each one of these. Alright, so that's that 5 out of the way. Now bear in mind, you can hit up the Master store and you can order extra things. So you can order an extra dry bay cage here, and that'll add you some extra hard drives. So you can probably boost this up to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably 9 or 10 hard drives you could fit in here as well. So I've already mentioned your two 5¼ for CD-ROMs. You've got 2 SSDs on the basement here, which is a feature that I do like, because everyone does like showing off their SSDs. Probably not so much now, but I do remember when SSDs were first coming out and you sort of had that wow factor. Everyone was trying to stick them near a window, stick them somewhere to be seen, but it is nice to put them here because this space would have been wasted anyway. I always like an option, whereas if you're installing water cooling and you're removing all your hard drive support, I do like it where you need to have a backup option, because then people are left guessing on where to store their hard drives and SSDs. Now we've only got 7 slots here, so you're not going to be fitting in one of those massive long boards. You will fit like a workstation board. If it does have the 7 slot support, they normally just start the slots up a bit higher, so you can fit that in. You're probably not going to fit the large, you fit eATX, but you're not going to fit your dual workstation boards, which is fair enough because it's not really aimed at that. Now I do notice you do have some nice rubber feet. It's quite an interesting design where they've kept the top and the bottom sort of the same, sort of this curved sort of arch. So you've got nice rubber feet there. You've got a fan filter on the bottom, which is nice, removable. The traditional CM design, they've sort of add their sort of cutout for the shape of their logo on there, which is nice. We'll just slide that back in. Plenty of room for power supplies down there. You're going to fit whatever size you want down the bottom there, which is nice. We got grommets. Let's see, we got some grommets in there. I do like these ones. I'm poking my finger in and they are not falling out. So I have had some cases where you literally like blow on them and then the grommet just completely falls out. So they do seem fairly strong grommets, which is nice. Now we've got a nice cutout there. That's pretty much standard these days. More grommets up there, which is like they're really sort of stealthy, which I do like. Moving on to the top support. Now this thing was a little bit of a surprise. This top area just slides. Now I can't see anywhere where you can screw this top cover in. You actually can't. So you're just gonna have to bear in mind that if ever you pick this up, you can't screw this top bit in. Like nothing actually attaches to it. All it is just a hood to hide your top compartment here, which will either take your fans, it'll take a 240 radiator or a 280. It's actually got this little cutout. Bear in mind, thickness is probably going to take, or I wouldn't say it's going to take anything too thick. Probably you're going to be stuck to about a 30 millimeter. Probably not going to fit a 60. By the time you put fans on, it's going to be too high, and you can't fit fans. Oh, yeah, you're not going to be able to fit fans on the outside, on the inside of here, because it's going to hit there. So yeah, maximum of 30 millimeter thickness there. But bear in mind for the front, you can actually, once you take these out, you can fit a nice thick 240, a 280, or you can even, they've actually done a nice little sneaky thing where this basement here, they've left a bit of a gap, so you can actually fit a 360 all the way down the bottom. But bear in mind, you have to take out these hard drives, and then this CD-ROM cage there. So you are left with a lot of bare sort of front there, but that'll allow you to put in a nice thick radiator. And then once again, you can use these nice rails. They've supported with all the holes to mount your reservoir and your pump as well. Now moving on to the front, let's see. So as I mentioned earlier, you got that same sort of concept on the bottom, on the top with these nice sort of handles, which is nice. Just going to see if this pulls off. I actually haven't. Yep. Oh, well, that comes off. So that's a nice front. So sort of the traditional Cooler Master design, sticking with that front area that pulls off, which is nice. And then in the front there, we've got the included, they look actually like 140 millimeter fans, so that's pretty sweet. Two of those, and it looks like you've also got a 140 on the back. So you actually are getting quite good value with this case. You're getting the 3 fans in this case, which is nice. They're not LED or anything, they're just sort of basic fans, but they will still do the purpose. And I'm just gonna see if I can pull off this whole front. I can't see why I wouldn't be. Most times you can. Just to have a bit of a look, I think you normally just have to pull it like that. I don't want to break it. Let me move it around. I know a lot of the Thermaltake cases, you just give it a good pull. Alright, so that's out now. Now we can have a look in the front. So that's the front area there. Pretty much sort of basic standard design. And then you've got sort of your rails in there for your radiator or your fans, because this case is sort of semi-designed for water cooling. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. They've added a few features for it. Now moving on to your front section now, I do like this area. I've actually noticed while I've been touching this whole case, it's very sort of fingerprint sort of proof. It's not like, I can't really see anything. You probably pick things up easier on the camera. I do notice a lot of times cameras do pick up fingerprints more than the eye, but I've been touching this and it really, like, there's just nothing showing up there. I did notice that the side panel side panel is different. So you got a high quality plastic versus you got a painted steel. And when you got this painted steel, yeah, I can see one here. It has a different texture, but the actual overall case, the sides, the front panel area, and it's sort of a rough, sort of nice textured plastic. So that doesn't show fingerprints, which is good to see. Now moving at your front I/O, we have a hard disk light, have USB 3. Now I do like that both of these two are black. It sort of blends in with the theme. You've got your headphones, your microphones, and your reset button, which is sweet. And also with the power button is nice little one there. And I do believe that the LED is just under it. It's kind of sort of in the same area as that as well. And I also just noticed that if you are using CD-ROM at all, you might have a DVD, Blu-ray, something like that. These are the quick release ones. They just slide and push. And now half the time if you're traveling with your PC, you can normally just rip this section off and actually use proper screws, or you can use screws on the back just if you want a bit more strength, because normally these ones don't hold your drives in 100% perfectly. All right, now moving on to the back. Bear in mind, just to note, probably don't use the sort of the divider here for your. This bit pops out for your 280 or 240 radiator. This is just a bracket. Probably not best to use this as a handle. I just used it then and it started to flex, so it's not designed for a handle, so I probably just use the sides like that. Now looking on the back, it's quite interesting. We've got these nice little straps, which is a nice touch. Sort of adds like a very nice premium feel for sort of what you're paying. So you've got nice straps here along this bar here. Plenty of room to bring cables through if you need to. And looking at the back of the case, they've given you enough room to work with. I wouldn't say it's the best the best amount of room behind the motherboard, but I would say you've definitely got enough, and especially with this cutout here, you can store a lot of your cables underneath and only bring up what you need behind the motherboard tray, which I do like that as well. You've also got a few little holes here for your fans that are running on the front as well. But looking at this case quickly, I am really liking sort of the features, the design, the price is sort of well on point with this. Covering the rear fan, I urge all case companies to do this, and I actually hinted to the guys when I was over Taiwan that when you're installing an option that will take a fan or a radiator, it's very important. I really like it how it's got this sort of slotted, sort of the slit design. Instead of putting 4 holes for a 120, 4 holes for a 140, why not just put a few slits, and that gives you the option to slide it. Now you don't have a lot of room to slide it, but if you've got a crazy motherboard or you're sticking an all-in-one that has the sort of the water cooling ports hitting something on the heatsink on the motherboard, if you've got just a few centimeters to slide it up, a few centimeters to slide it down, that normally sometimes makes a difference in a build. So I really do like it where they're giving you the slots there, and also on the top cage that comes out has all slots as well. So that just gives you a bit of freedom to move it, because what's to say the radiator you installed doesn't have ports on the very end of the radiator, and you have to put a stop fitting in, and if you only had one area to move it, stop fittings could be hitting the cage and you can't install your radiator. So it's really nice that you can slide that along. Now with this case, we're actually not doing a build in this one straight away. We're actually got a competition coming up on the GGF page. We are giving a whole system away. I haven't even announced it yet, so if you're watching this video, you'll be the first to know about it. I'm giving a whole system away. This is going to be the sort of the start of the giveaway. So this will be the case for it, and then we've got some gear, we've got some rolled gear, SSD. So the whole system, I think it's valued at probably $1,500–1,600. It won't be water cooled, it'll just be standard all-in-one cooled, and we'll be announcing that soon. It's just on, you just go to Facebook, search for GGF LAN Party. We'll be announcing that soon. And just another thing I did notice, I have noticed with this case, is with the side panel, I'll actually pull these bits off here. It is nice that they have, see how the side panel there, it's sort of like a tinted, actually is it, you can just see my hand, so it's a very, very dark tint. And what they've done is, so when you line that up with your case, you can't see everything underneath, which I really like. But bear in mind, if you do want to see that bit, you just undo 2 screws and you can take this little tinted sort of flap off, and then it just extends the rest of the clear panel all the way around. So I do really like the thought of that, because if you didn't have that and you wanted to hide all your cables, you had an ugly power supply or something, that really just neatens it up. I'm actually going to do this for the giveaway. I'm going to see if I can add some vinyl wrap, cut it out, add a few LEDs behind it, and see if I can actually get some funky sort of sponsor logos glowing up through the side panel. So that should look sweet as well. Last thing I didn't cover were these connectors here. Probably nothing really need to cover these days with that. They're normally spot on. Most good quality cases, they do come black, which I like to see. You get that if you get moisture. They are nice and long, which is like pretty good. You're not going to have any room like this USB 3, like that's going to reach anywhere. And one last thing, so I did suggest to the guys at Taiwan, it's always nice when you buy a case and you get a nice little accessories box and everything is laid out nicely for you. It's a nice little, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-way accessory box. Everything is laid out there, ready to go. It sort of makes it just that nice little touch and a nice feel. Now there actually was a little instruction guide that comes with it. This is actually stuck onto one of the bits of foam that you do get with the packaging. So just hunt around for that if you do want to refer to this little manual. I'm not really sure what's in it. We actually, yeah, just a nice fold out, nice and basic, easy to read. And this is your warranty information, so you're probably not going to need to use that. But yeah, once again, nice little touch with the accessories box. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to thank Cooler Master for sending this out for the video and the competition. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next time.